How much do you know about Elliot Carver?
Worldwide media ban. Able to topple governments with a single broadcast. Carver owns that newspaper tomorrow.
You seem very concerned about Mr. Carver's business.
This is the new banker, Mr.
Bond.
I believe he once had a relationship with Carver's wife.
And this I'm particularly proud of. Your new car. Let the mayhem begin. Get up to him! Welcome to my world crisis, Mr. Bond. I have a backup plan. So do I. Would you please kill those bastards?
What's going on, everyone? Great Talon here, and today we're going to talk about James Bond 007 and Tomorrow Never Dies, the second James Bond movie starring Pierce Brosnan. And it was a pretty damn good movie, don't get me wrong. I have a confession to make before we get started. I did a pretty perfect review of this about 2 seconds ago, but as I was recording, my voice didn't take because I forgot to click the voice button on my microphone, and I wasted the last 10 minutes just fucking talking to myself, and not as the button was recording, but the microphone wasn't picking up my voice. So I'm gonna do it again because I unfortunately erased all my notes that I had. So I'm gonna wing it, and it's probably gonna be sloppy as fuck, but that's okay because it's only gonna get about 5 views, and there ain't nobody watching this. So yeah, anyway. So with that being said. So this movie is a pretty damn good movie in its story and plot in itself, but again, it's its own worst enemy in that sense because of its execution, and we'll get to that in a little bit. What I did really enjoy about this movie is the music. The music fired on all cylinders. The composer knew when and where and how to put the little variants of the James Bond theme in to incorporate it into this movie almost flawlessly during the action scenes and the little traveling scenes, all that stuff. What I really enjoyed also about the movie were the performances from, of course, Pierce Brosnan. You had the main villain, Elliot Carver, M, Moneypenny, even little like cameo characters like Terry Hatcher, the fucking Bond girl, what we'll get to in a second, Michelle Yeoh. They all give great performances. Even like there was one villain named Coffin, the fucking professional. He was really cool, little like professional hitman. They all really give great performances. And Terry Hatcher, though, is a delight because she is just super hot. And she gets half naked in the movie and wears fishnet thong G-strings. And it's really distracting but lovely. And who else is lovely is Desmond Llewellyn Q, which is always a delight. And he is just, this is the second to last Bond movie before he passed away, rest his soul. But he is just always, him and Bond always have such chemistry together that's just banter back and forth. And it's just amazing. What I also enjoyed too were I really enjoyed the gadgets. The gadgets were really cool because, Q gives Bond this car. Of course, it's a BMW because I guess BMW sponsored this entire fucking Pierce Brosnan era of Bond movies. I missed the Aston Martin, but he does drive the Aston Martin briefly in this before upgrading to the BMW, which has a remote start, which probably is where this movie got the idea, or the car industry got the idea for remote starts from, and a little fucking cell phone that's an Ericsson model, mind you. Ericsson, you remember Ericsson, folks? Because I don't. That's like saying, do you remember a 1987 Volkswagen Scirocco? They don't even make these cars anymore. They don't even make this phone anymore. But apparently back in the mid to late 90s, it was the bee's knees. But anyway, I digress. So there was a really cool part where he was in the parking garage and he's driving this little remote control car around with the help of his cell phone, which he flips to the side, flips it up, and there's a little touchpad that activates the car and drives it around. So he's in the backseat of this car and he's driving around. He's trying to escape the goons and whatnot. And it's pretty cool, but at the same time, it's a little bit bullshit because there's one point where there's spikes on the road. He drives over the spikes, pops and blows out his tires, and immediately presses another button on the phone, and the car tires inflate. I'm like, this is bullshit. There's no car tires on the planet that will go over spikes, deflate, press a button, inflate, and then patch itself up. That is complete horseshit. And now we'll talk about the cons, because I want to flip back to the cons. Yeah, that part is bullshit. The uneven pacing. So the movie is its own worst enemy because it has such uneven pacing. It'll just jump around from place to place. It feels a little bit sloppy in its execution, unfortunately, because it sucks too. It's unfortunate because the main villain is so compelling, and so is the story, and the villain is also wasted in this because he has such a good and crucial role in the movie, and he's only just kind of pop fizz in the end, and he's just kind of thrown away and abruptly, and the movie ends to that point very, very abruptly, where you don't even get a chance to absorb what happened. It just kind of fucking fades to black and rolls credits after the main villain is ended and whatever, and just toppled, and then it's just like, all right, we're done here. I mean, and it sucks too because the movie is like 2 hours long, and that's enough time to not feel rushed and have such good pacing, but it doesn't. It's not like GoldenEye. GoldenEye had such great pacing and just was a little more compelling, but. And speaking of compelling, the main antagonist here, Elliot Carver, the whole plot is really compelling too, and the story is really, really well fleshed out. Elliot Carver runs this paper called Tomorrow. It's like a media outlet, and he has this internet, this whole global network, right? Television, internet, and I believe newspapers. So, and he's dirty and he's scheming. He's stealing government entities and gadgets and whatnot, like this thing called the encoder, which allows to put trick vessels on the water to think they're in one spot in the water, but they're really in a different spot. So he placed them in international waters that he thought were good and clear, but in reality, it turned out to be they were occupied nation borders. So in China, in this instance, so they pits China against England, and they have this he has this fucking cool Legion of Doom stealth ship that they can't be detected by radar, and it has missiles on it. So he's firing the missiles and the drills at this, and he sinks one British ship or whatever, and then they think that China did it. It's just creates a debacle, and the U.S. of course gets in the middle, trying to prevent World War III, and it's a really good story. It actually has a better story than GoldenEye now that I think about it in a sense. But its execution is just so sloppy that it never gets to become and supersede GoldenEye in my eyes. And with that being said, I'm going to just drop my score here and let you know why. If I had to score James Bond 007 in Tomorrow Never Dies on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10 because it's almost great, folks. It's almost borderline 8, borderline great, but it's so sloppy in its execution and wastes the main character, the main villain rather, at the end of the movie. It's just kind of a little bit disappointing, that's all. But again, this is why it doesn't beat GoldenEye in my eyes. It's just uneven pacing, the rush story, the sloppy execution, some cool action scenes like the motorcycle over the helicopter, the car garage, and the control car driving in the garage, the opening segments, the chase sequences are pretty cool. All that stuff in a nutshell is alright, but when you get down to the nitty gritty, it's just, again, its execution is just very poor. So, again, with that being said, that is my review of James Bond 007 and Tomorrow Never Dies. The next James Bond movie I will be doing is the third Pierce Brosnan movie, The World Is Not Enough. Look forward to the next one. I will catch everybody next time, and thanks, as always, for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe.